Hi everyone, if you're new here, my name is Danny James, and in this tutorial I'm going to be showing you how to create this content-aware teleporting effect inside of Adobe After Effects. Let's jump into it. Alright, I want us to create this effect on this clip right over here, and before we do anything I just need you to duplicate it by hitting Ctrl D so that you have this duplicate over here, and then we'll find our rotoscope tool and then double click so that it takes you to a layers panel, and then we will just select on the subject, and then I will follow frame by frame just to ensure that I have a perfect selection of him. So find your preview tab on your right hand side and then go frame by frame until you complete that rotoscope. Alright, once you're done going frame by frame, don't freeze the frame yet, just switch back to your selection tool, hit Ctrl D. On the layer that is right beneath, just go on it and click invert so that you select everything but the subject on that one. Then click on freeze now. So now we'll switch back to our comp, and then we can rename this layer roto no subject, and then the one on top just name it roto. So basically what we've done, if I isolate the layer that is above, we only have the roto on this one. I've also toggled transparency by clicking right here, and then if I unisolate that one, isolate the one that doesn't have the subject, you can see what's going on. And then right beneath we have the background. So right now on this one that doesn't have the subject, just try to shift the edge by reducing the value, and you can also increase the feathering up to 15. Again, you can go on your rotoed layer, increase the feathering, also maybe do a little something on the shift edge. I will reduce it up to around -15. Now we can start the fun part of this tutorial here. I will unisolate everything, click on the layer that doesn't have the subject. I will also isolate it, okay? And then find your content aware tab right here on your right hand side. If you can't find it, go to window, ensure content aware is enabled right here, and then just copy these settings. Fill method, use the object, range, work area. About the alpha expansion, you can see it's kind of straightforward what it means, but you can use the default values as they are. Then click on generate fill layer, and then I will give it a few seconds just for it to do the work. So once it's done, you'll have a fill layer that looks like this, and it will also be on top. I will give it a different label color just so that you can differentiate it. And then what I like to do on this fill layer, just go to your effects and look for the Gaussian blur. Put it on that layer, increase the value, anything close to 15 should look alright, so that it's just not very apparent. I will unisolate everything. Now what you do, just drag this fill layer so that it's beneath the rotoed layer, okay? And then go to your effects and look for transform, and you can start adding or animating this rotoed layer, and then add a keyframe for position and scaling. You don't have to add for scaling, but it also looks good when you add it. Hit U so that you can see those keyframes. Go right at the end, manually add these keyframes so that this is also our end result. And then right in between, we'll start moving the subject around. So I'll go a few frames, maybe like 2 frames, shift him to the right. You can also scale him up if you need to. Play around with that one. Go a few frames, take him to the left hand side, and then you can also maybe scale it up more, maybe drag him down, okay? And then go again a few frames, maybe put the scaling back to normal or something close to that. I'll probably move him to the left hand side, so now he kind of moves around the screen, and then keep on just doing that. Maybe right at this point I could reset and have everything come back to normal, and then probably copy these keyframes that we just added, or you can only copy one set of keyframes like this. Sorry, I just need to copy these ones here, so I'll copy these ones, hit Ctrl C and then Ctrl V. I will do the same with the ones that are right beneath, Ctrl C, Ctrl V, and maybe right at this point I will grab these 2 keyframes that are the end results, bring them right here so that we can end this animation somewhere around here. And then I will highlight on all the keyframes, put them on easy ease. So right now this is what we have. Okay, that looks good. So what you want to do with the keyframes for position, just highlight on all of them, click here so that you can go to the graph editor. So I will zoom in and just put this one towards the middle and do the same with this one here. and then I'll repeat the same thing. And you don't have to do this for every keyframe, because even After Effects won't let you do that. I'll skip some, do the same thing here, just so that it's not very predictable. Just play around with the speed of your keyframes as I'm showing you. And then I will add one more thing here. We'll just disable using the composition shutter angle and put our own, which is 200, which will give us a natural blur as the subject moves around the screen. Yeah, you can see, very easy. And the last thing that you can do, we can add an echo effect. So go to your effects and presets, add an echo, put it right here. Change the echo time to something like 0.04. And if that doesn't give you the results, try negative 0.04. Change the number of echoes to either 3, 4 echoes, and then make sure the echo operator composites in back. Now I will reactivate the transform effect, but upon reactivating you might have some glitch, and that's because we need to reduce the decay, because the decay determines how long the echo stays in the frame after the echo has been applied. So I'll start it at 0.2. So you can see everything so far looks really good. I just want to show you something else that I've seen in Cole Bennett's music videos. Hit Ctrl D, you'll delete the transform and the echo effect from there. Hit T so that you add opacity keyframes. Make sure the opacity starts at 0. Go somewhere here, add a keyframe for opacity, go 2 frames, put it to 100. Then we'll go maybe 4 frames, 1, 2, 3, 4. And then make sure it goes back again to 0. And then we'll go somewhere further along the timeline and do the same thing. Then easy those keyframes. So now this is our final result. We see the subject and then he fades out, we see him again, and then it goes on like this. So I think this is what I predominantly wanted to add onto this tutorial. One more thing that you can do here is that you can create an adjustment layer, place it right on top, give it a different color, then go to your effects and look for brightness and contrast, drop it onto that adjustment layer. Now we won't add keyframes manually, I just want you to add an expression. Hold Alt while clicking on this brightness stopwatch so that you can add an expression. Add wiggle, click enter, and then the first digit should be the frequency and the second digit is for the amount that we are switching in between. So you can switch between 0 to 100 in terms of brightness 6 times. If I put something like 6100, this is what we have. You can see it kind of flashes on and off. Now I don't need this adjustment layer to go for so long, so you can just hit Ctrl Shift D and split it, drop this menu and then kind of duplicate it maybe once, twice, and then spread it across this duration. And you can also extend the length however much you feel it's necessary. So I think this is something that also adds to the realism of this effect really easily. And yeah, that's a really easy way to do this content aware teleporting effect inside of Adobe After Effects. In case this tutorial was a bit heavy for you, I will have the project file for this one linked down below, so feel free to check out my Gumroad links on the description box. Kindly feel free to check out my digital store at dannyjames.co for preset packs and LUTs that you might find useful. My name is Danny James. See you guys on the next tutorial. Peace.